Colin Cowherd recently had a take about Oklahoma and their move to the SEC. Let's get into it. If you're a sports fan, then you know the name Colin Cowherd. He's one of the biggest, if not the biggest, in the sports media world today, right up there with Stephen A. He's been doing it for a long time, whether that be at his time at ESPN or now with him being at Fox Sports. And as everyone knows, his show mainly focuses on the NFL, but Colin is also a big college football fan. And he recently had a take with OU that I don't agree with, but also maybe do a little bit. Colin had three main points about OU's move to the SEC, and I want to attack all of them individually. His first one was Oklahoma and them not really having a fertile recruiting ground, talking about Oklahoma not having the recruits that like a state of California, Texas, Florida, or Ohio would. And I disagree, because in Oklahoma's history, the thing that has made Oklahoma Oklahoma is they have recruited Texas very well. Not just recruiting in general, but they have recruited Texas as well as any Texas-based school, and that goes for the Texas Longhorns as well. If you look throughout their history, they've had great players from Texas. Obviously, one of the big ones is Adrian Peterson, who was thought to go to Texas but ended up going to Oklahoma, and it worked out for him. Oklahoma is going to recruit Texas if they want to succeed. In the history of their program, them recruiting Texas and being a big killer in the recruitment of the state of Texas is why Oklahoma is Oklahoma. His second point was they hired the wrong coach in Brent Venables, and that I do disagree with. Brent Venables is a great coach. He's been killing it on the recruiting trail. Yes, they might have had a disappointing season last season, but they did beat Texas, and this fan base and this administration is 1,000% behind Brent Venables, showing that with his contract extension. And Brent Venables is going to get them where they need to be. And in this 12-team college football playoff era, why would Oklahoma not get in? Texas is going to Texas. You have all these other schools in the SEC, but Oklahoma is Oklahoma. They're going to do what they do in recruiting. Their standard is the standard Oklahoma. I know it's cliche. People hate cliches, but that's just how it is. The standard is the standard Oklahoma. No matter when Lincoln Riley leaves, Brent Venables comes in. It all steps up from what Bob Stoops did, and it goes all the way back to Barry Switzer. Oklahoma is just a juggernaut and a powerhouse in college football and college athletics. Brent Venables is a great coach. He's only proven that. Even in a down year, they still beat their biggest rival in Texas. And their future's bright, not just because of the recruits that they've brought in or the administration backing, but because Brent Venables is that good of a head ball coach. And his main point is saying that they hired the wrong guy in Venables is because he's a defensive guy in an offensive era. And I get Colin, he's an NFL guy, but he's enough of a college football fan to know that it doesn't matter as much as it does in the NFL. Kirby Smart is your prime example. 2 national championships in the last 3 years at Georgia. We've seen it with Saban in his run. Dan Lanning's now doing it in Oregon and just getting started there. Brent Venables is fine because he is smart enough to put around the right offensive personnel around him, from the coaching staff to recruiting the correct players that fits his culture and his program and his offensive staff that he's hiring. Yes, Brent Venables is a defensive-minded coach, but I think in this era of college football, that's perfectly fine. You get your right offensive coordinator and the rest of your offensive staff correct. They control the offense, and Brent Venables can act like that CEO while also still keeping his hands and 1,000% in on the defense and managing to keep his defense at that standard that we know a Brent Venables defense is capable of and should be at. His third point was they went to the wrong conference. I just disagree, because when you're playing in the SEC, you're going to get guys that are being looked at by SEC schools as well, just by being in the conference and going into and playing consistently in a Florida, in a Mississippi, in a South Carolina, in a Louisiana, in a Texas now, playing Texas A&M again, in a Missouri, back playing Missouri. I don't, especially now in this 2024, I don't really think the conference matters in terms of recruitment. Obviously, back in the day, recruit wants to stay home where his family can come and see him. But now in this era of social media, streaming platforms, and basically being able to watch any game at any time that you want, that don't matter. And it's just going to open up even more possibilities for them. We hate to say this, especially on this channel and me, good losses really aren't a thing, but in an SEC, 10-2 in this 12 and soon to be 14-team college football playoff gets you in over being a 10-2, a 9-3, and in the ACC or the Big 12. It's just how it is, and it's the way it's going. SEC is the Big Daddy Conference. We know Big Ten's right there with them, but SEC is the SEC. It's a good move for Oklahoma. They're going to recruit Texas well. They always have, as I've pointed out earlier in this video. Maybe they'll get an extra kid or 3 from Florida now while playing and going and playing in Florida and nearby states. And especially if Florida State does end up playing, then you're playing potentially two Florida schools every other year in that state of Florida and traveling there every year. Oklahoma is going to be fine. I don't know why people act like Oklahoma is this program that just has these downs. When in the history of Oklahoma football, they don't have a lot of dips. They might have some years that are considered down years, but even Oklahoma down years would still be other schools' best years. Oklahoma is not going to have any reaction firings to Brent Vittles like we might see at other schools. I'm looking at you, Florida. They've already extended Brent Venables. They're committed to him. So even if they have a 6-6, 7-5 year, Brent Venables knows this school has his back, and being in the SEC is the best place, not just for Oklahoma, but Brent Venables as well. As always, thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. And let me know down in the comments, do you agree with Colin Cowherd's OU take, or do you more so align with the thinking that I have laid out in this video?